Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I am Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We are your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu, taste the tingle. It's a delicious liqueur developed by a Central Illinoisan for Central Illinoisans. Find one in a bottle of what are the flavors now? Grapefruit and wild berry.
Wild berry, yeah.
Wild berry. Find you a bottle of wild berry or grapefruit Zambu at a vendor near you. Taste the tingle. All right. Without further ado, our guest today attended Stevens Institute of Business and Arts. She is an ambassador for the Effingham County Chamber of Commerce and is currently a mortgage loan officer at Land of Lincoln Credit Union in Effingham. Is that correct, Effingham?
That is correct.
Got it. Central Illinois, please welcome to the show, Lisa Wilson. How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm wonderful. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me today.
We're excited to have you. Before we get too far, we'll go ahead and kick it over to Garrett to do the speed round questions to get to know you a little bit better, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. We know you've been sweating this. So this is to get, for all of our listeners and viewers out there, to get a little bit better feel of who Lisa Wilson is. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and proceed.
Let's do it.
All right. What was the first concert that you ever attended?
Oh, my goodness. This is showing my age. You guys probably don't even know who this is. Sean Cassidy. Yeah, see,
you're
back
correct.
when I was
have
like
no
8
idea who
years
that
old, I went to see Sean Cassidy. So that just tells you how old I am.
Well, hey, that's the first on the show. So you're the
That
first
is
Sean
Derek.
Cassidy.
Derek, do you know who that is?
Never heard of him or her.
Yeah.
You remember the Hardy Boys? Do you remember the Hardy Boys at all?
Yeah.
I remember the wrestlers, the Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was going to say.
Oh, no, this was a mystery, like a mystery
Okay.
type. Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you guys are too young.
Gotcha. Well, gosh darn it. So, all right. Well, your favorite movie?
Mary Poppins.
All right. Favorite ice cream flavor?
I have to go chocolate.
Right
Okay.
there with you.
Mhm.
iPhone or Android?
I have an iPhone.
They're just too easy to use.
They really are.
Favorite social media platform?
Gosh, I think it just depends on what I'm doing or what I want to learn for the day. I mean, obviously I use LinkedIn for my educational piece. And then I use Facebook for more of my marketing aspect, because a lot of the members and people that I'm trying to reach for my business purpose are going to be probably from Facebook.
Sure. And why Central Illinois?
Well, I grew up pretty much in the Effingham area, moved up here from Kentucky when I was 9. So this has been home for as long as I can remember, still have family here, and I've grown to really love what the Effingham area has to offer. So don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon.
Very cool.
Good deal.
Well, good. So, Lisa, can you just give us a quick background of kind of your business background, where you came from, where you're at today, and all the in between? You don't have to give a 20-minute speech at all, but give us a good wrap up of how you got to where you are today.
Sure. My background's a little interesting. I will say that I'm unlike many people today. I don't have any type of a bachelor's degree or master's degree of any sort. Although if I had to do it all over again, I might consider that. But my degree is really just a 12-month trade school type certificate. When I first got the certificate, I was into hotel management and travel and tourism. So I actually was a travel agent for about 6 years. And that was a lot of fun, but we could easily identify that the travel industry with travel agents was going to start going by the wayside because of the internet and people being able to purchase a lot of their airline tickets and things online. So I then ended up going over to what was then Eaglesoft, which a lot of people know today as Patterson. Worked over there for 8 years. You'll see kind of a common denominator here, 8. Worked there for 8 years in all sorts of different positions, starting from, customer service all the way up to the national training manager before I left. So did a lot of different things, wore a lot of hats, but then that's when I was approached to get into insurance. So I'd say the majority of my background comes from 14 years in insurance, property casualty, which is your auto, home, life, and then also was involved with commercial insurance and some securities. So spent 14 years doing that. And I'm kind of the type, I don't like being complacent. I like being challenged and I like learning something new. So after about 14 years, I thought, okay, let's try something different. And I took a leap of faith and went to work for Haibu doing digital sales. And that was a great learning experience, completely out of my comfort zone. Although I think I could have been successful at it, I just quickly found that it wasn't a good fit for my family because of my husband and his travels and with his job and things like that. So because, I had to travel with that job, I needed something where I was in town, plus aging parents. So I needed to come back home, stay in Effingham to be a little more accessible. So I then ended up getting into mortgage lending, again, completely out of, in another different ballpark. Nothing that I had ever done before, but was approached by someone that knew my past experience. Again, working in customer service with insurance and everything, and then my involvement with the local community. I guess they thought I'd be a good fit. So I thought, sure, why not? Home insurance, mortgages, there's a lot of similarities, a lot of terminology that are kind of interchangeable. So went to work for a local bank for a year doing mortgage lending, and then actually was offered this position at Land of Lincoln Credit Union as their mortgage loan officer in the Effingham branch, and have been here ever since.
Very cool.
Perfect.
So you're a Jill of all trades then, correct?
Pretty much. Yep, pretty much. Yep. There is nothing that I'm not willing to try, and nothing that I feel like with a little bit of effort I can't achieve.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
You just have the mindset, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, right? There's no looking back.
That's right. That's right. There's no looking back. Just go all in.
I think I say it on every episode, but that's the common theme with the individuals I think that we have on, Derek, is that everybody's just kind of got the mindset of, the failures happen. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
You just got to keep busting through the wall and keep moving ahead. So
That's right.
Yeah. So I'll jump back to where you started as a travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
So what interested you initially in getting into the hospitality travel agent stuff? What were some things that really interested you in that arena?
Well, way back when I was small, I always thought it'd be kind of exciting to be a flight attendant, or
Okay.
forget what they called them back then, stewardesses, I think, back in the day. I remember getting my first wings from Eastern Airlines, which you guys probably aren't even familiar with. But,
About as familiar as Sean Cassidy.
Oh, there you go. You can be Googling Sean Cassidy and Eastern Airlines for this after this podcast is over.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and I thought, I want to be a flight attendant. I want to travel around. Well, needless to say, someone that gets motion sickness from riding a car, it's probably not a good idea to be hopping on a plane working. So I quickly identified, okay, flight attendant's not a good idea. I'll be sick, every day that I work. So I thought, well, let's check into maybe hotel management, still an opportunity of maybe going someplace fun and warm and being involved with activities of a hotel. And then also the travel agency aspect of it was kind of an interest. So, but that's what started. I thought I wanted to be a flight attendant.
Very cool. So do you still use some of those habits and knowledge from being a travel agent in what you do today as a loan officer?
Absolutely. I've always been big on customer service and always doing what's best for your customer, and always trying to think ahead, being prepared for what may happen next or what could happen next, or outlining for that person obstacles that could happen. And, one of the things I will say that I will always remember from whenever I was a travel agent here, it's actually how I ended up getting my job with EagleSoft. But I was the corporate travel agent for EagleSoft and was working with one of the VPs at the time. And needless to say, a lot of the other people were kind of intimidated by him because he was kind of stern and not the type you'd normally joke around with, but you knew you better take good care of him or you're not going to hear the end of it. Well, I can remember I had notified him that there were some flight delays out of St. Louis. So I had contacted him to let him know his flight was delayed by 3 hours. Or something in my mind told me, keep an eye on that flight because you never know when things might change. Luckily, I did. I followed back up with it and found that they had moved the flight time back up. And it was then only going to be delayed by an hour. So I quickly called the gentleman and said, hey, just want to let you know your flight's been moved back up. You need to head to the airport. And that type of follow through, that type of customer service is what then led him to give me a call a few weeks later and said, hey, we think we want you on our team. And
Very
that's
cool.
when I decided, let's give it a try. Let's go check
Yeah.
out that dental software.
It's amazing when you do the little things that you don't think will matter, but they always do.
Absolutely. And that has held true with me every day, no matter what job I have, is always taking the best care of my people, the best that I can. And I want them to always say, you know what, she went above and beyond. And because of that, I'm going to refer her. I consider her a friend. I consider her a mentor. And I've built a lot of good relationships with people that have followed me from job to job over the years because of that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing you mentioned in your speed round was you like LinkedIn because you get the education from other people on LinkedIn, but you also use Facebook more for your marketing. Tell us a little bit about how you use Facebook for marketing and what your results are. What are maybe some tips or tricks or hacks that our listeners can take from you?
Sure. And it's definitely, work in progress. I try to constantly go out there and look to see what types of ideas and tips that I can get from other mortgage loan officers in the industry. Because I know we're in little old Effingham and we don't always do things like other people do in the bigger cities. So I'm constantly trying to find new ideas. And one thing that I'm going to be incorporating after the first of the year is trying to do some little video series. Lots of different industries are doing it. And so I want to bring that to us here locally because I don't think any other loan officer does it. And once a week, just give a little bitty, maybe 5-minute, mortgage tips or just something to kind of help people understand mortgages and what it's like to apply for a loan, what the process is like, what they can expect. I'm hoping to educate them, but if nothing else, hoping to build that rapport because I'm really big on face-to-face talking with people. We do internet, we do online applications. I do email, I do the phone call, but I love getting someone in my office and being able to speak to them face-to-face. I really feel like that helps gain that rapport and that trust with someone. It goes a lot farther. So I feel like the video series is going to help with that aspect. Hopefully they'll get the impression that I am approachable and they're not afraid to contact me and ask me questions. But after this point, I have my own business page versus my personal page. I do try to keep them separate. Every once in a while, I will kind of cross over on both of them, share some things from Land of Lincoln on my personal and vice versa. But for the most part, they say keep them separate. People that are on your personal page may not want to know what's going on the business page and vice versa. So I try to keep those separate, try to post at least Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. They say that's kind of the key time to get your audience, and then just trying to keep the information new and fresh.
So 3 times a week is what you do, 3 times a week, and usually 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. That's a good tip right there.
Yeah.
So do you do any paid advertising on Facebook, or is it mainly just organic? What's your strategy there?
Yeah, I personally don't do anything paid. with me working for Land of Lincoln Credit Union. Now the credit union, they have their own marketing. We have our own department, so they have their own marketing program. So a lot of times I will share things that our company is sharing because there's lots of great information that they share. So I like to share that, but everything else that I do is just organic. It's just ideas that I've come up with. Sometimes they may be just general posts, about the holiday, or they may be mortgage specific, or it may even be something about me. Just again, some little tidbits about me, but it is just ideas that I come up with.
Perfect.
So tell us a little bit about your current role, what you do, and how you help people.
All right. I am a mortgage loan officer. So my primary responsibility is mortgage lending. There are other types of loan officers within the credit union, but my focus is just on mortgages, whether it be a purchase of a home, or whether it be a refinance of a home. And I don't do anything with the commercial side. So if it's a business, like a building or something that a business is purchasing, we have another whole department for that. So my primary responsibility is residential, single family residential. So I'm working with the individuals and not with the businesses. So many people still are of the mentality that everything just needs to be done technically with the internet, with the emails and stuff. Now, granted, again, kind of told you I'm kind of in that middle age group. I like that, don't get me wrong, but I still find that there is value with the face-to-face communication. Anytime I can get somebody in here, I will try to do it because I feel like I can do a better job of explaining the mortgage loan process to them versus just through the long paragraph of an email or even on the phone. I want their attention. I want to engage their eyes so I can see they're following me. They're understanding what I'm saying. I'm not talking too much, or I'm not talking over their head. And I kind of look at it from just like I did on insurance. I look at it from the perspective, I know a lot about it, but they know nothing. Sure. So I need to talk at their level, make them feel comfortable and not afraid to venture on this process with me. So I'm very good about explaining, this is everything I need from you. This is what our application process is. This is what I'm going to do to get you pre-approved. Once you're pre-approved, here's the next step. I explain what the next steps are. I go to the fact of kind of even explaining at the end, just giving them a summary, just so they can kind of understand, once we get into this process, it's not going to be that cumbersome. There's not much to it. It's just the beginning part and the end part. So just bear with me in the beginning, and then I'll take care of everything else until it's time to come in and sign the documents. So I try to make them understand, I'm going to be asking you for a lot of pieces of information, but it will get easier, and I've got your back. I've got you taken care of.
So let's say in today's crazy home market, what are some tips that you would give an individual? It's like, you know what? I'm thinking about looking at a home after, say springtime, just after the first of the new year. What are some recommendations that you would give, an individual or couple that's looking at a home right now?
First thing I would say is you need to get pre-approved. And by doing that, again, the first step is talk to a loan officer. Find out, what does that mean? A lot of people don't understand there's a pre-approval and there's a pre-qualified. Someone can tell you they can get you pre-qualified, but that's not the same thing as a pre-approval. Pre-qualification just basically means they take a look at maybe your credit score, they take a look at your income, and they may just say, yeah, it looks like you can probably qualify. But that doesn't mean they've actually checked and done the underwriting and looked at everything to say, yes, we're going to be able to do this loan. By getting pre-approved, we actually analyze the debt to income ratio to make sure they can financially afford their monthly payments. When we're looking at that, we have to look at not only their principal and interest payment, but we also have to look at what's the insurance going to cost, and what about property taxes. A lot of times people forget insurance and property taxes can add on easily $300 or $400 more to a monthly payment, depending on what county they live in and everything. So they need to be aware of that. So by looking at running their credit, looking at their debt to income ratio, looking at their income, then I can also help them determine, well, what loan amount can I even qualify for? You know, a lot of realtors today won't even show you a home without a pre-approval. And I don't blame them one bit. Because if you think about it, that's their time. They're not getting paid for their time to show you at home, not to mention the inconvenience for the seller who has to get their house ready to have people come traipsing through the house. So it only makes sense that they want to make sure that you are pre-approved and you're truly serious about buying. So the pre-approval shows that to the realtor. It shows them that you're serious. And then, like I said, I can help you determine what's your price range. Because you don't want to go looking at a $300,000 home if your budget truly only allows you a $150,000 home. And even if your debt to income and income says that you can afford that $300,000 home, that doesn't mean you want to pay that much. So then I will turn around and say, okay, well, here's what you can be pre-approved for. Here's what a payment would look like if you get a $300,000 home. Now, how does that sound to your personal budget? Is there a dollar amount that you're more comfortable with? Let's take that number and transpose that into what that would correlate into a purchase of a home. If you're more comfortable paying $1,000, maybe that's more like a $160,000 home. So people need to understand that before they start looking at homes. You don't want them to get their hopes up on a home that they can't afford or don't want to make the payments of. So pre-approval is key, because a lot of times people have no idea what their credit score looks like. They have no idea what criteria is looked at when we run the credit reports. It's a different ballgame with mortgage lending than it is credit cards or auto loans or any other type of product like that you might apply for. Mortgages are different. The platform's different as far as what we look for. So first thing, find a mortgage loan officer you can talk to, get pre-approved, understand the process. And so
that's where the benefit of the meeting, like you mentioned, would be great, whether you can do it virtually or in person, the fact finding of
exactly
what you're really looking for, what you're trying to accomplish, and go from there.
Yeah, it's just like with insurance, the fact finding. What's your goal? Where are you at today? What is your goal? Where are you at, and what's it going to take to get there?
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lisa, I have good news. I think we just got the start of your video series that you want to start producing. Well, you just gave about 10 minutes of pure mortgage knowledge right there. So we'll send you this video so you can start your video series with this information.
Yep.
So
fantastic. I will share it.
Yes.
Sure.
So, going back to what you just talked about and the video series, and I want to talk about two things. The video series I'll start with. I think education in general, for most people, buying a home is probably going to be the largest, amount of money that they're going to spend in their entire life.
Correct.
Their home is typically the largest expense. Maybe some business owners will spend more on a business, but not everybody's a business owner. So it's scary. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just said a $300,000 home especially for someone who may not have bought a home before. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money. And being able to learn from someone like you, what are the steps? What are the criteria? How do you get approved? There's a lot of stuff that, going back to the insurance, obviously the three of us know about insurance, but you talked about talking to the customer's level and not being, we always say it. What do you say, Garrett? Third grade level? Got to speak to him at a third grade level.
Absolutely.
We all know the acronyms of insurance, but most people don't. You've got to put yourself in their shoes of, what did I know before I learned anything about insurance? And I always say the only thing I even knew about insurance was where to find the ID card in my glove box. And most of the time that was expired. So most people don't know anything. And the same with mortgages. They know they want to buy a house. Mm-hmm. They don't know the process. They don't understand how to get there. So I think you're on the right track, and the video series is a great idea. And it sounds like you do a great job of educating people that, don't know much about mortgages.
Well, thank you. And again, like you said, education, that is my number one. I don't have a teaching background, but I can tell you that When I got into insurance, just like when I got into this, one of the things I thought of was, okay, insurance. Why would I want to do insurance? I don't know anything about it. I don't like it. And then it kind of dawned on me, Lisa, you're like a good chunk of the people in this world. They don't understand it. That's why they're scared about it and they don't want to talk about it. So go into it from an education stance. How can I educate people to understand what they have, what they don't have, and what they need? Same thing with mortgages. People are scared to death. A lot of times they feel like other mortgage lenders are not taking the time to explain things. They don't have a clue what they're doing, when they're doing anything or what they're supposed to do next. They don't know what to expect. And so my goal is, I'm not in sales. I'm not a salesperson. I've got the gift of gab. I love to educate people. And my goal is I want to educate people and help them make sure they understand everything that's happening and feel educated through the process and can walk away from this feeling like, wow, I learned a lot. Not only did I buy a house, but I learned a lot in the process.
Yep.
Now and Derek and I, we use video a lot for, video proposal because people are busy today.
Right.
And not everybody has the time to do things, and we'll send things and we'll review it. And we've got a really good response on that. And how you said you slow down and break down stuff that most of the time, there's probably a lot of loan officers, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but you shoot it across as fast as you can to get the answer, hopefully, that you're looking for from your client. Well, if you really just slow down, break it down, and make somebody and help them understand, it goes a long way. And then they're not just a client, then they're a customer for life.
Right. Another thing that I saw that I want to incorporate is with the video series is just doing a quick little like introduction. Hi, like when I send an email to a prospect outlining how to apply, what information I need for them to bring me, like tax returns, things like that. I'll still use the email, but I'm also going to record just a quick little, maybe 1 minute, like, hi, I'm Lisa. Here's the information that I told you I'd send you. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, email me back, but kind of tag onto that little personal note to that individual in addition to the email. I think that will go a long ways, again, as far as hopefully building that rapport and helping people feel comfortable communicating.
Absolutely.
Makes you a human and not a robot.
Correct. Correct. And I'm right here in little Effingham. So, I'm approachable.
That's right.
One thing that I've gotten away from that I used to do, and I probably need to revisit it. I used to have an introduction, meet Derek video in my email signature. And the tool that I use to do that is called Wise Stamp. It's like an email signature creator. It's WISESTAMP, Wise Stamp. I see Lisa getting her notes out. So you can use it. Basically, I recorded and uploaded a video to YouTube. Said, hi, I'm Derek Hayden with Danzig and Shelbyville Insurance. Here's what I do. Here's a little bit about me. So if people want to know a little bit more about the person who's emailing them, they can click on that. And for a long time, that was the most viewed video I had in my YouTube channel. But then I took it down because I put something else in there to schedule a meeting. But I think I might put the video back in. So that's an idea, that people can just get more familiar. You become more of a real person,
right?
Like you said. So that's one tool that you could look at. What tool do you use for video and email?
Well, again, I haven't done it yet, but in my research, I'm finding some people using, is it Vimeo?
Vimeo.
Yeah.
So I was gonna kind of play around with that and kind of see where that goes, but I'm not familiar if there's any other ones.
One that Garrett and I use often is called Vidyard or Vidyard. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's Vidyard.
Okay.
So Vidyard is kind of the reason we like it is you can record your video, and when you put it in the email, it actually pops up with the video in the background. Instead of a link, they actually see a preview of the actual video. So it's more likely to be clicked on. So Vidyard is one. I think BombBomb might be an app that people use too.
Okay.
In the Vidyard, we use more, I would say, for personal, whether it's just a follow-up or something of that nature. Like he said, we've held up whiteboards with clients' names on it. hey, Derek made this
Yeah.
video for you, check it out, you know, just to try to personalize it as far as that goes.
We would put like, hi, Lisa, this video's for you, something like that. Just so they can,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we use it more for that. And then is it lately? Is that what we've been using now to kind of break up some of our videos?
Yeah. Lately is like a social media kind of a management platform, but we can, like, for example, if we take this video that we did or doing the podcast on, we can upload the video to Lately, and Lately will break it up into smaller, I've heard it called snackable videos. You know, so people, you know, it's not a 30-minute video. They can watch a 30-second video of Lisa explaining the mortgage process. And it's just, and then you can schedule those throughout the week, month, year, and then it automatically posts to, we do it for LinkedIn, Facebook. What else we use? That's the two main ones we use it for. But
and there is a fee involved with that, but like Vidyard, I use the free platform for Vidyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
There are upgradable. In the Vidyard, what's nice about that too is if they do click on your video, it will show you if they've watched it, and it'll show you how much of it has been watched as well.
Yep. And
Ooh,
how
I
often.
like that.
Nice to know.
Yeah, I like that.
We found it to be a little more useful at 30 seconds to a minute at the most if we're going to try to throw a video on social media. Even if you're following up with a client, they got to be short. You know, our attention spans today are not long. I know mine's not. So
Yep.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I think your idea for your video series, that would be very useful for,
absolutely.
I mean, if I were going to go buy a house, I mean, our house, I think we got in 2017, 18. So it's been 3-4 years since we got our house. I just show up whenever that, I mean, I still don't understand the mortgage process. I don't get what they're looking for. I mean, they told me everything that I hoped that I could hear and that I could buy the house, but I don't know what they were looking for. So I think that would be something that
absolutely
most people would find interesting and educational.
Yeah, quick tips and clips, stuff like that. That's absolutely something short that's, grabs their attention and tells them what to expect through the process. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the plan.
So Lisa, last topic here before we wrap it up. You are involved in the Effingham Chamber of Commerce as an ambassador. So tell us some of the stuff that you do with the Effingham County Chamber as an ambassador and what you do to help promote businesses.
Yeah. Being an ambassador, I guess the best way to put it is you're kind of like the cheerleader for the Chamber of Commerce. We show up like for ribbon cutting ceremonies, for any open houses, after hours events. We'll volunteer for some of the different just activities that the chamber has throughout the year. And we also try to help promote membership. So the good thing, what I really like about it is, it doesn't really hold a lot of responsibility like a board would. If you're a board member, you got some major responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fun part. This
There
is
you
the
go.
cheerleader part. This is my part. I love socializing. I love meeting people. And that's what this allows me to do, is to, be out there, be a voice for the chamber. And then it also kind of helps me get to know that I'm amazed how many people in Effingham I still don't know, even though I've lived here most of my life. But I'm always learning more about people, about other businesses, seeing some of the new businesses that come to town, which is interesting, and just being there to help them whenever they need anything.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's, I think I'd agree with you. That sounds like the fun part to me. That's more up my alley.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, believe it or not, we're getting close to our 30-minute mark. Before we hop off of here, is there anything that you want to share, tips, tactics, ideas wise with our listeners?
Well, if I could throw in just one thing about Land of Lincoln Credit Union. We are getting ready to celebrate our 75th anniversary next year. So we are super excited. We're going to have different festivities and giveaways all throughout the year, starting in January. So we're real excited. Background of Land of Lincoln really quick. We go back to 1947 up in Decatur. We originally were the Decatur Signal Depot Credit Union, which the Signal Depot was a military institution where the military would send their soldiers for combat training. They closed up in 61. The credit union continued to service those people, then started to offer services to Protestant churches up in Mattoon. And then that's when they decided to change the name to Land of Lincoln Credit Union. Since then, over the years, we have merged with multiple credit unions. We have grown into many communities and many counties. We are now in 27 counties, and we have 12 locations. So Effingham is one, which is where I'm at. We go all the way up to Bloomington, all the way down to Centralia, all the way over to like Bond County, and then all the way over towards like Marshall. So if you work or live in one of these communities or counties, you can be a member of our credit union. Where we're a little different, credit unions are member driven. We're owned by our members. So anything that we do is going to be member focused. Banks are owned by investors. So naturally what they do is they're trying to hopefully provide a good return on the money to the investors. So although we offer similar products, savings, checking, loans, and you name it, our intention is a little different. We are trying to make the lives of our members better, trying to save them money. So any money that we have above and beyond after our expenses are all paid, that is returned back to our members by lower interest rates, maybe on car loans, any kind of like lowering our fees, any type of products, anything that can help better our members and our communities. So we're non-for-profit. We have a voluntary board of directors. We're very similar to like, the Red Cross and United Way as far as how the organization works. So it's just really exciting. We're really big on financial education. I tell people all the time, even if for some reason, maybe your credit score isn't quite where we need it to be to do a mortgage, let's do some financial counseling. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what we need to do to help you get to where you need to be able to qualify for a mortgage. We do a lot of financial counseling at all of our branches, and we've helped a lot of people get a start and build that credit. So definitely, keep us in mind. Anybody that has any needs, whether it be mortgage loans or any other type of bank type product, look to the credit union first. Or in addition to maybe the bank you go to, and just see what we have to offer. I think you'd be impressed. I'm impressed, and I'm grateful to be here.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, 75 years, they're Land of Lincoln Credit Union is doing something right to be around that long and to expand in that large of a territory. So yeah,
Correct.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa, if someone listening to this wants to contact you, how can they find you on social media? What's your best contact information?
You bet. Naturally, social media. I'm on all platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's under Lisa Wilson, mortgage loan officer. You can also go out to our website at www.llcu.org, and it has a list of all the branches. Again, I'm in the Effingham branch, and you can just pick up the phone and give me a call or email me from, even from Facebook. You can message me to Messenger from Facebook. So definitely any way possible, I'm out there.
Awesome. Great. Well, for all you listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on whatever platform you consume podcasts on, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. We should be on all those. While you're there, leave us a review to be grateful. We'd be grateful. That's what I'm looking for. While you're also looking for us, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and follow our guests there as well. Until next time, Lisa, you have officially been civilized. Thanks for coming on the show with us.
Yay!
Thanks, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. It's been fun.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.